afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. We are rolling through the month of October. Halloween is less than 2 weeks away. I guess it's 2 weeks from yesterday. I'm doing a show, and speaking of beautiful autumn October, I got a gentleman in Berlin, Connecticut I'll be interviewing tonight. He's a musician, and he's sitting outside in his yard, and you can see the foliage behind him is as exquisite as can be, and there's nothing wrong with using that as a backdrop. Kind of looks like my green screen at the Eastern location, but that's okay. I don't usually do too many shows with the guests are outside, but he's loving, he's eating it up, and he's having a great time out there. And I would do the same thing if I were the guest on someone else's show. But before we get to him, I've got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So we have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Rodney's Kitchen in Halifax. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We have Carver Jewelers, Ronald Dow and Lila Delano Goldsmiths right here in the building. We have New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have Pals Driving School in Middleborough, setting up classes for December of 2023, January and February of 2024. You guys better hurry, check the website. My 16-year-old nephew, Jason, has already signed up for that, so get on it. We have Manny's Auto Repair in Taunton. We have Hanover House of Pizza in Hanover. They make great Sicilian pizza, Greek salads, and they deliver and have awesome people working there. We have Bulldog Sports Cards in Middleborough. We have Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough. We have the Gunrunner LLC, the Second Amendment Freedom Store in Middleborough. We have Pembroke Radiator in Pembroke. We have the Cornerstone Barbershop in Pembroke, yes. We have the Auto Shop in Hanover. Thanks, Ed Rooney, who owns his own business there and best mechanic on the South Shore. I think we have Countertops Express in North Attleboro, the experts in installation and removal of quartz and granite. We have DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington, right up the road here on Route 58. I want to thank you guys very much. Now, I'll introduce Mr. Mike Leonard. Mike, thanks for doing my show. We set it up a few days ago.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you. And you're a musician, and you play a lot of clubs in Berlin, Connecticut. I guess that's where you're at, or around that area, Hartford, New Haven, New London.
I kind of play all around. I do. I was just in Massachusetts actually this past weekend.
Okay.
Doing a private house party for a friend of mine.
Oh, good. Okay. So obviously you get hired out a lot, right? Which sounds like, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then aside from that, I also do host karaoke, which I'm actually doing tonight after this in Hamden every Wednesday at the Cellar on Treadwell. Okay.
Now you say, all right, hold up a second. When you say you host, now do you own this place in Hamden, or is this?
No.
Okay. You just work.
I just bring a party.
Okay. I got it. Do you do any DJing at all too? Usually people that host karaoke.
Yep.
I figured as much. I figured you.
Yeah.
And you go. So you do that when you say you had a private party in Mass. I figured that's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like DJing and stuff, and then performing.
No, that was an acoustic show.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you mean by an acoustic show? Like you perform your own. I mean, you told me the other day that most of your music that you perform is cover stuff, but do you do some of your own work as well?
Yes, but very rarely. Most of it's just I do covers.
Okay, that seems to work for you, I guess. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about, I do with every guest, I try to profile them, find out what they were like as kids and how they got into music, or whatever they happen to be doing. So let's talk about that. Did you go up in Connecticut? You life one raised down there? All right, what were you like as a kid? Were you musical?
Not really. I didn't. I mean, my dad played.
Okay.
And I never really started playing until I was about 17.
Okay. What did you play at 17?
What's that?
What instrument did you play at 17?
Guitar.
Okay.
And self-taught, and then picked up the harmonica as well and started playing that along with it.
Okay. That's awesome. Gee, that's got to be tricky. I know you must have one of those one of those little stands where you can hold the harmonica and play it. Okay.
Yeah, my harness.
If you want to accompany yourself on the harmonica today when you play the guitar, that's certainly certainly fine. That's up to you, but that's pretty cool that you can do that. So you actually that's how those stands for the harmonicas. You can actually play it and do the guitar at the same time, because you basically the stand is holding it still, so you can just move your mouth side to side in order to make the notes come out right. Is that it?
Yes, and because a lot of what I do, I'm a huge Neil Young fan and have been my whole life.
He's my second brother.
So that's kind of my drive to wanting to do that.
I'm still waiting for a heart of gold in my life, so I get it. Obviously. Yeah, is he still with us? I know.
Oh yeah,
He is. Good.
yeah,
Okay.
no, he's on tour. Yeah,
Wow.
he's still pumping albums out.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, he's a great musician, obviously. I think of all four of those guys, he had the most melodious voice, definitely.
Yeah.
And he said, and oh, that's great. So basically, you emulate him, kind of.
Yep.
Okay. All right. When you started, did you play in a band at all when you were 17 in high school?
No. Just kind of started solo. I've been in bands, but a majority of what I do is solo. And
Okay.
I started just with open mic nights and doing a song or two and kind of,
Oh,
finding what I could do and what I'm capable of.
okay. Well, obviously you're doing pretty well with it. And this is now you were when you were 17. Where have you performed? Like, have you performed anywhere outside of the state of Connecticut? I mean, you said you performed in Mass the other day. So how far wide do you travel for your work?
I've done a lot of New England.
Okay.
I was actually pre-COVID had it set up. I was in the works of possibly going to Germany
Wow.
and doing like a little circuit out there, but then COVID kind of messed everything up, and then it, fell out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about since then though? When we came back, I mean, where have you ever gone to other parts of the country or outside of New England, and if not, are you planning to?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I just kind of, stick in the area because besides doing this, I'm a full-time chef, kitchen manager.
Okay. I don't know.
So I've been a chef.
You wouldn't happen to know Chris Booth, would you?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
Because he's a guy from Connecticut. He was a chef too. When I interviewed him in the Philippines last year from right here. And I thought,
okay.
Yeah, and he's also an actor too. All right. Have you ever done any music videos of any kind? To enhance your music?
No, I do a lot of live streams though through Facebook, and kind of created a pretty decent sized fan base. I'm thankful for all of them, always supporting me and watching. And that's actually how the guy that had me play at his house this past weekend met me through my Facebook live streams. Okay. And then eventually was like, hey, would you come up here and play? And I've met a lot of people that way and performed for them at their houses or,
right. Oh, wow.
Gotten gigs that way.
Have you ever performed at the restaurant where you cook?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I have.
That must be kind of cool. I mean, you're the musical chef. They must call you that, right?
Yeah, singing chef.
Singing chef. Okay. Where do you I mean, do you work at just one restaurant or more than one?
No, I'm at Vero Cucino in Middletown.
Okay. Is that an Italian restaurant? It sounds Italian.
Yeah, Italian place. Got a lot of great food, everything from scratch. We make our own breads for our grinders, and we do pizzas and the usual traditional, chicken parms, chicken marsala,
Get me hungry here.
Catering as well. So we stay pretty busy.
Well, okay. So this isn't a chain. This is a one-trick pony, right? The restaurant. Correct. I got it. Okay, that's awesome. And I've been to Middletown. They actually in 2009 they have a TV station there, and I was on the game. They taped the game show Deal or No Deal with Howie Mandel there, and did you know that?
No.
Yeah. And I actually got paid $100 for being in the studio audience, but the contestant did a lot better than me. He made about $35,000 answering a few questions. So
yeah, I'd say that's better than 100.
It is, but it was something. I mean, because I've been on Boston Casting's email for a while. All right. Yeah. So how many days a week do you work as a chef? Like, you're not working there tonight, are you? Tonight are you doing the karaoke thing at the other place, at another place?
Yeah, karaoke's tonight. So usually I'm off on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then I'm there the rest of the week.
Okay.
Unless I have a gig, and then my boss works with me pretty well, where if I've got something that comes up, he'll give me the night off to be able to go do that.
Well, that's great. As long as you give him enough notice, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sure you work as a chef. You probably are a member of a team of chefs that are able to create as wonderful cuisine just as you are.
Yes.
Right, I
Yep.
know there's a lot of, do we have a restaurant in the town of Easton called Corfinio's, and they make the food right out in front of right out in the open? You guys do that there too? So people can see that it's appetizing when you see the food being cooked right out in the open.
Not so much in the kitchen, like the saute. It's like kind of in the background, but you could see the pizza guys out by the counter and stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, all right. Have you ever done any? I'm kind of getting the sense you could do some things like, I know you're sort of a traveling musician. Have you ever done like singing telegrams? I don't know, but it's something it occurred to me you'd probably be good at that. Where you create something, somebody sends you to a house for a birthday wish or birthday as a birthday, surprise to somebody, or maybe anything, just a wedding, anything that's uplifting, Mother's Day, something like that. Have you ever done anything like that?
No, I actually never thought of doing that, to be honest. It's a pretty cool idea.
Thank you. I like to give advice to my guests that will behoove them sometime down the line, and they might be able to, use it, because I bet you'd be great at that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, it probably would be. All right. Do you have a family? You married with kids, or you single as a shingle on a Pringle?
No, I have a 13-year-old son who actually just turned 13 this month.
Oh, okay.
And, his mother and I are separated.
Yeah.
But
okay.
things are going well.
I understand. Is he into music too?
No, he's into art, but he more or less likes to do drawing and work with clay and things along those lines, and video games, of course.
Of course. Well, if he's any good at that stuff, maybe we can get him on the show. I'm always looking. I've had artists on the show before. I love having talented people on, regardless of their age. I mean, I have an 80-year age range of guests. My oldest guest was 85, and my youngest was 5. And the oldest guest, who I had on 10 years ago, just passed away at 95. So he lived a pretty full life too. So, I mean, he had a heck of a story to tell. Well, all right. So how many like gigs do you get like a week usually? Outside of your restaurant on average, or does it vary depending on what's?
It definitely varies, especially depending on the season. We're kind of slowing down now because summer's ended.
Yeah.
But when it's like wedding season and stuff, I get a lot of DJing for weddings or. Jack and Jill's I did some charity event. So kind of all over, there's some weeks I'll have 3-4 gigs the same week. Wow. And then some weeks will just be my normal, every Wednesday I do.
Okay. What does the Jack and Jill mean? What's that?
That's like when people get married and they instead of having, say, like a bachelor party and a bachelorette party, they combine it, and that's, instead of doing their separate parties, that's a Jack and Jill.
They combine it? Well, if I'm not mistaken, now you tell me if I'm wrong here, but my memories of bachelor parties consist of actually, having women come in and,
yeah, right. I get what you're saying.
Right, but
no, it's a much tamer party.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, I figured as much. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's interesting. I had to ask because otherwise the inquiring minds want to know. Otherwise, we don't find this stuff out. Okay. That's awesome. So do you reach out to people for like do you check of the people in the paper that are getting married and to see if they want you to, is that how do you get a lot of references like that? Or any references?
No, I just kind of put myself out there, once in a while I'll say, if anyone looking for whichever it is, I'm available. And I've gotten gigs that way, or I get gigs from referrals from people who I've already done shows for or DJ'd for as well. And then, I'll go to a party, give out some cards, and then I hear from them a couple months later and, hey, we're having a party. I met you at yada yada's, gig, and we'd like to have you here. So.
But what about the idea of checking the paper for people, weddings and engagements, and then reaching out to people that way? I mean, wouldn't that give you more business? Just a thought, another thought. I don't know if that would. Yeah.
I'm in a few different like wedding groups and other groups for like on Facebook, say, that you can kind of like, put yourself out there and say, this is what I do. It is,
Yeah, exactly. That's what Facebook. All right. Well, I mean, so have you ever been on the radio at all in any of the neighborhoods that you live in, or near your neighbor, near the neighborhood that you live in, or in the neighborhood, or anywhere at all?
Yes, I was on PLR
What's,
a few
is that,
years back. 99.1 with Ryan Roberts.
okay, that's an FM station in Connecticut?
Yep.
Okay, and is that, I mean, is that like a pop music station, top 40?
Rock station.
Okay, and you performed some music there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually on there twice.
Wow, okay.
Yep.
And are they in Hartford?
Where is it? Where did I have to go to? No, they're not out of Hartford, but it still spans, all of Connecticut.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, that's great. Well, how far, how many, have you ever been represented by anybody, like an agent or something?
No,
Okay,
just do all my own legwork.
I understand. That's great. Okay, well, so now you said that the season was slowing down, but a lot of people get married in the fall. That's a pretty good time to get married, but I guess it's probably not as many as the summer.
Right. Sorry, I bug out here.
Yeah. Maybe that bug was causing the problem with the audio.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't know about that. All right. So are you ever going to put anything on YouTube? Because that might benefit you, because then you could send you work around to more people.
Yeah, no, I should probably get on that. I kind of like fell off. I've had stuff many years ago. I mean, there's the old videos on there from like 2010,
Okay.
but now with time going on with all the social media and everything that's out now, I kind of like, stick around that,
Yeah,
whether
I
it's
know.
Facebook or TikTok or,
But you know what you could do? If you had more, if you put stuff on YouTube, you could share all that on the social media. I do, when I'm sharing my shows, I consistently, if you've noticed it, I try to share at least 5 shows every day, no matter how, just to get more views, and it works. And I know it works
right.
for you too. You want to get, and plus you'll have something as a backup if you have a situation where the sound isn't coming through, like tonight. That really is a shame.
Yeah, that doesn't make, yeah, that's very odd
No,
to me.
I know, I can't understand it. I just think that somehow the voice vibration, the vibrations of the larynx vibrating is more easily picked up by the phone than it's like at a different frequency. That's all. Just like a dog whistle. You can't only a
Yeah.
dog has a certain sound. I think that's the same thing with this.
Yeah, I'm
know?
not sure. If I find that it's weird that it wouldn't be the same as when I live stream, because there's definitely, no
Yeah, I know.
problems there.
Yeah, I mean, you live stream, you use your phone too, right?
Yep.
Wow. Oh yeah, I don't know what it was. We couldn't hear it. We tried to set it up. We tried to pick the audio up here too, and it didn't work. But okay. So when have you ever do you ever get like an inspiration to try writing a song just based on your own life or anything like that, and just sit down and decide to do it?
Yeah. Yep. I
Okay.
have. And that's kind of like, I think that's kind of why I don't play them as much, because they're more personal, just kind of like for me
I
in a way.
understand. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's interesting. I guess a lot of people feel that they want to share their personal stories with the world in music, but I guess not everybody feels like that.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Now, when you were a younger guy, and you don't look too old, you only look about 40 at the most, I'd say.
Yeah. In February, I'll be 40.
Okay, there you go. Okay, well, you're 20, you're a lot younger than I am. All right. Well, when you were in school, did you do anything other than music? Did you play sports? Did you
I grew up playing ice hockey
okay.
when I was younger, and I played for Newington. And
No, wait, what is that? Is that like a minor league team?
I was mites. Yeah, like I was, this is when did I start? And I was like 6, 7 years old about,
Okay. Wow.
when I started skating and playing,
Okay.
and played there for a few years. And then that slowly kind of fell off as I got older, and then got into art. My family is very artistic. Like my grandmother painted, my dad did like pen and ink.
Okay.
I did pencil drawings, so that's kind of like now with my son went down to him where he's very artistic.
Right.
So I was when I was getting out of high school, I was either going to go to school for was going to be art, cooking, or music. And then I figured going in with cooking, I'll always have a job or a gig,
Right.
and I could still do the other stuff, you know,
Yeah.
as it comes.
That makes sense. Yeah. Where did you go to? Did you go to culinary art school somewhere?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
What school?
It's not there anymore. It was in Cromwell. It's Cromwell Culinary Institute.
Okay. I've heard of Cromwell. Yeah. I've been through there.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's not there anymore. It sounds like it's a pretty good school.
Yeah, no, when did they close? They closed a while back. I forget why. I mean, long after I already graduated from there, but
Right. Okay. All right. Was you ever thinking maybe writing a cookbook? You must have some good recipes.
yeah, I mean, I have my own, notebook / cookbook, that I use for my own recipes. Yes, but I
Right,
never
well,
like published one.
Well, I'm thinking maybe it would be kind of cool to publish one. You could sell it and make more money doing that.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Or even maybe teaching a cooking class too, in addition to the music, like just getting, giving private cooking lessons, to people's homes, or maybe one of the.
That I've done.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I've done, some self catering. Like I've been hired for parties to cater for them and stuff.
Wow,
So-
that's great. Now, when you cater parties, do you have like a moving oven? I interviewed a guy many years ago who had a business where he made these ovens that were made out in Denver, Colorado, were shipped to him, and he would bring them to business, or he'd bring them to events like weddings and stuff like we're talking about, and he'd make pizza and all kinds of stuff right there in front of the attendees, and it was incredible. He did an incredible business for himself. I mean, have you ever
Nice.
done anything like that?
No, I never had a food truck. Hopefully one day, I've got lots of ideas to
Yeah,
build a food truck up, but never basically got into having one. But
Right.
I've used to, utilize other people's kitchens or prepare the food ahead of time and bring it over.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, that must be awesome. You have it all. Have you ever now? I'm thinking somebody that has do you have any Italian in you or any in your ancestry?
Oh yeah, I'm Sicilian.
Oh, you are? Okay. Have
Yep.
you ever been to Italy? I mean, I'm thinking maybe go over there. You can have the Mediterranean countries. They love good cooks. They love good music. You could
Yeah.
cater parties there.
No, Italy's definitely on my bucket list.
It is. Yeah.
One day, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's quite, I was watching a show on Portugal the other night. Boy, what a beautiful country that is, because it's always warm there. And it's, in a site, and as someone who's artistic, if you're ever in you can't get a much better landscape. But I don't know if you ever paint, you said you did like sketch drawings with pencils. I mean, even the area behind you is pretty nice. You could do a sketch of that. Have you ever done like drawings of outdoor scenes and stuff?
Yep, I have many times.
Have you ever sold your artwork?
No, I mean, I've given stuff away, but I never,
I mean, say could you? I mean, are you good at drawing like from your vision? Like, so you like
Yes.
say, yeah. So if somebody sometimes people go to carnivals and they say, sit here and I'll draw a picture of you and doing something that you like doing. I remember I'll draw something. I had a friend that years ago at a carnival in 1988. He said, "What do you want me to draw?" He says, just draw me a Three Stooges thing with with some good graphics, them slapping each other around, that kind of thing. So I mean, you could do anything. You're a sketcher. You could do calligraphy, or you could do calligraphy sketching,
Yep.
and caricatures and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that could be something that that's just another idea for possible stuff that you could sell, and and for your own. I'm sure you must have a lot of stuff like that hanging on the wall in your house too, right? That you
yeah,
did.
no,
Yeah.
definitely a closet full of stuff.
Why in the closet? Why not out in the open where people can see it if they come over?
Stacks up. There's too much.
Yeah, it's true. You're really into that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be able to have an exhibit. You might be able to have these in an exhibit in an art museum around the neighborhood somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Do an art show one time.
Yeah. Did you say you've done one, or you've never done one? Have you, or have you?
No, I have.
You have. Okay. And I bet they did pretty well. We have an
good
awesome
time. And then I actually sat and performed,
music,
during.
right?
Yep.
Wow. So you got it all. I mean, you got the artistic, the music. I mean, everything you do is an art form somehow, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's where, and I mean, if you basically every day of your life you're doing something artistic. That's a beautiful way to go. To live like that.
Absolutely.
Must be quite satisfying. I can just imagine and that's wonderful. Okay. So what are your plans for this? Like now that fall's moving along, what are you going to be doing? Anything, any special gigs coming up?
I've got some Halloween parties coming up. Those are just gonna be DJ, nothing for no performing. And then in December, I've got a couple of acoustic shows coming up as well that are private parties.
Oh, that's great. Okay. And there's always a chance you could be asked for more in between now and then too.
Exactly.
Okay, Mike. Well, guess what? We're down to the final 5 minutes of the show. I'm sorry about the fact that your music didn't come through, but I hope you had a fun time talking to me. I hope we covered as much of you as we could. And so what I'd like you to do in the remaining time is just give shouts out to a few people that are going to see the show. And then I'm sure we'll get lots of views once it's up on YouTube, like we discussed, and we'll keep sharing it. And then we'll wrap the show up with my music the way we began it. So go ahead, just shouts out to your family, your son if you want, people in your restaurants.
Yeah.
And
I just want to shout out, everybody who's supported me, and very proud of how far I've come and who I've become. And a lot of big thanks to my parents, especially.
great.
My mom and dad and my stepfather have been more than supportive of me, and very proud of who my son is becoming, and very grateful for the job like cooking at Vero that I'm in with a great team, and one of the best bosses I've ever had, because he's worked with me very well, letting me do what I love to do, without, some jobs will give you a hard time just to take a night off.
Oh, I know.
So, especially someone in my position. So shout out to them, and all my fans, that's why I do it. I love you all.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm sure they're very grateful. That's great that you have such a nice, benevolent relationship with your boss, because not everybody does. I know that.
Right.
All right. So if you had a good time with me, if you know anybody that might be interesting to be on my show, you got my digits. You have them contact me. We'll get them on either by Zoom or in person. That's the way we do it, and that's
Okay.
it. So you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I have one more favor. Once we wrap the show up, will you stick around and let my tech guy take a picture for Facebook, and I'll tag you in it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, folks, we're going to wrap the show up. See you next time with another great guest. And Halloween's getting closer and closer. Spook louder, baby.